Hello, we are Arabella and the Heist. You're watching
Concert Junkies with Rob and John.
Make sure to subscribe and hit the bell. So, in the middle here we have Holly Arabella. Our man on the far side, that's Dan, he plays the bass. This is Joe, he plays the sixth string. I'm Luke and I play the drums. So, yeah, the first question is, how did we all meet? I think Holly should probably take this one because it's all around you.
Well, I was a solo artist for a long time and I decided I really needed a band, and these guys sort of fell into my life in weird and peculiar ways. And we just sort of all ended up playing music together and formed a band, I guess. The next question, who influenced you to start playing music in general? Should we take this one each? Dan, you want to go first?
I'd like to say my dad is a pretty good influence, and just without him, I don't reckon I would have started playing music. So, cheers, Dad.
For me, music's always been somewhat of like an escape. I've been able to just like pick up my guitar and play and get it out of my system. And I guess it was myself. My family's never really been overly musical, so yeah, I guess emotions influenced me.
What influenced me to start playing music? Well, can't actually remember that. Musician-wise, probably Jack White. But probably more recently, probably my current housemate. He got me back into music when I hadn't been playing for a while. Started playing guitar with him. So Drew, props to you.
I'd like to say Dan's dad also got me into music. No, funnily enough, it's half the dad thing as well. So yeah, like I probably have a very similar experience. My dad played bass in a band and stuff. Still reckons he's a better bassist than me. He's probably right. So it was that I was always into music growing up as a kid. Never really even considered playing until I heard Muse's "Time Is Running Out" in a YouTube clip one day, and then was like, man, that song's cool. Because I had listened to like punk and ska and rap, because that's what dominated the radio here in the late 90s and through the mid 2000s. And then that led me down a rabbit hole of heavier stuff with guitars, etc. But yeah, Muse Rose's band I always thought was super sick. And that got me into it. And I wanted to be a guitar player. I wanted to be like Matt Bellamy. So I asked for a guitar for Christmas, but this was in mid-June. So I had a while to wait and I was impatient. So I got my dad's old bass out of the shed, started playing, and then my dad was like, look, man, there's a million guitarists out there. No offense, Joe. But, you know, good bass players never out of work. So that got me into it. And I kept playing. My sister started playing drums, so I took lessons thinking, that'll make me a better bass player. A couple of years later, she'd stopped playing drums. I was still taking lessons. That's it. So just, half musical family, half just music's cool, I guess. I don't know. So the next question is, when you go on tour, what do you have to have with you? Last time I did a big overseas tour, probably like a 5-week haul. Besides the essentials of like a pack of darts, I always love, you gotta have like a good book or something. That's the biggest thing you gotta combat is the boredom. Not the boredom, but like when you're on the road and it's like, okay, cool, we've got a 6-hour drive to the next gig. Like, no offense, guys, but I don't think I could talk to any of you for just 6 straight hours without just like. So yeah, something probably to deal with those sections of it, the parts that aren't super fun. Drum kit's also pretty essential usually.
What do I have to have on the road? Probably go on the same vein as Luke. Headphones are a must. With some sort of music or video playing device, and snacks, because you never know when you're going to get hungry, and there's not often a service station. Buy food.
Snacks are definitely an essential. For me, my list revolves a lot around food. I can't go on stage without having a Powerade in my system. It just sort of snaps me into gear. But snacks, entertainment, headphones to block these guys out, and food. Food's always a must.
Always need a blanket. Always need a pillow. They're pretty essential. I reckon the bass is pretty big. That's definitely one that you need. Maybe you're a guitar lead. That's
right. No one can hear you in the mix, anyways.
Yeah. And then just a lot of stuff that you'd really think you'd need.
You also need a positive attitude. And you need to have fun. That's the main thing. The next question we've got on the list is, if you weren't doing music, what would you be doing? I would still be studying music and the industry itself. And I would also, I think, probably be in a job that I hated, and not playing music would make me very sad. So, Joe, what about you?
Well, to be honest, probably doing the same thing, just without the playing music, so not much. That's probably the honest answer.
Yeah, I'm gonna double down on my answer of playing video games. No, I think I've always been an educator, like I'm a music educator, but without music I'd probably be doing something similar. Or I mean, before I decided I wanted to play guitar and not make money, I wanted to be an astrophysicist or a psychologist. So maybe one of those things. I don't know where it all went wrong, but here we are.
I was about to say I could never see that happening.
I'm smart.
You're smart.
Sometimes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well.
Mate, you forgot Dave. You forgot Dave.
I never said I was moving on.
I'd be making bread.
Yeah. So for real, when we found Dan, he was still working at a bakery. He was an apprentice baker. So he'd get up at like whatever time and just make bread.
But it always meant free bread for us. So there was a solid moment there where we were just, entire diet was just carbs. But still is. Like, you can't go wrong with carbs. Your favourite venue to play and why? Have we thought about this as a group?
I've got a personal answer. There's two on home soil. It's the Evelyn Hotel in Melbourne. It's just, I don't know, if like it's almost like I have home ground advantage when I play there. Like, I just feel great. So the best gigs I've ever played here have been there. The other one I got to give a big shout out to is Home. It's literally called Home in Chicago. I played like the gig. That one night you had, which was the gig, that one. And it was there. We were first band on the bill, and there was still, I would have a guess at maybe 1,000 people in that band room. It was just packed. And it was awesome. They loved us. They'd never heard of us, and it just went off. It was great. So, yeah.
Favourite venue? Probably the Northern in Byron Bay. Played there a couple of times. It's great up there. Haven't taken these guys yet, but we will get there eventually. Always a good crew up there. Everyone comes out, has a good time. Yeah, it's a fun place.
Mine would have to be the home of rock and roll in Melbourne, the Tote Hotel, purely just because of its absolute, like, gritty feeling. You walk in the door and the carpets are sticky and you're going to have a good night. So, yeah, definitely the Tote. We've played some sick gigs there. So, yeah. Dan, what about you?
I'd say Last Chance Rock and Roll in Melbourne. Really good vegan palmers. Check them out.
Of course, it's about the food.
Why does every single one of your answer revolve around food? And carbs. Are there carbs in palmers?
Yeah.
Breadcrumb. First concert and first CD.
Oh, no, okay.
Mine was Miley Cyrus. I went to see Miley Cyrus before she chopped all her hair off. It was a great experience. My first CD actually was a bit cooler. My dad gave me a compilation of The Damned, and 10-year-old me thought that was really cool. So, yeah, what about you, Joe?
Not yet.
Yeah, I got this one locked up. No, mine's actually a serious answer as much as it sounds like a joke. First concert was Rise Against, supported by the International Noise Conspiracy. I want to say it was the 7th of April, 2008. It was definitely 2008. It was definitely in April because I just turned 14. But I remember going because the first time I went to a gig, like a real one, and, I went with my friend, like a family friend who was 18. So I went to the city, without my parents. We got the train, it was super cool because I was like, man, this is the first time I'm doing a real thing. It's a grown up. I felt like a big grown up, cool guy walking through the city. I was 14 and probably dressed not cool. It was a good gig though. And then First CD was Linkin Park's Hybrid Theory, which I paid for with my pocket money when I was like 8 or something. I don't know. It was like really little, but I just really liked that song in the end that was on the radio, and then discovered a bunch of other great songs. And now I listen back to it and I was like, hey, look, it's still good and it still holds up, but oh, man. Yikes.
Was Mini Luke literally like you just shrunk with the facial hair?
Yeah, I had a full
And
beard.
yeah, and like the baggy jeans and
Smoking
like.
cigarettes.
Okay, Joe, have you got your answer yet?
No, I really don't know. Honestly,
Dan?
don't know.
First concert, The Amity Affliction.
That's pretty good.
That is very cool.
First album, The Amity Affliction.
Well, you're a little bit obsessed. Yeah, I can tell. Joe.
Well, I can't remember the first CD, but first concert was The Darkness. Yeah.
Jeez, that's not bad either.
Yeah, so, yeah, it was The Darkness.
How old were you?
I can't remember.
Yeah,
I
right.
have no idea. But it was during the One Way Ticket to Hell and Back tour.
Nice.
I do remember that.
Why does everyone else have really cool answers? Miley Cyrus was cool.
She's got some good songs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gosh.
This is a collective.
The next question and the last question we've got is which band would you perform with at which venue? Have we thought about this as a group? We had a chat about it. Dan and I had a chat before. We're currently in the studio now, so we were having a walk down the street. We're having a chat about this. We said Royal Blood on home turf at Festival Hall.
That's a good one.
Because that would be a lot of fun. What about you, Joe? You thought about this?
That'd be pretty good. I haven't actually thought about it, but that's good.
Can I be the guy that's got a personal answer?
Yes, you can be the guy that has a personal answer.
I've dreamt about this. I've dreamt about this one. 9 Inch Nails played a gig at Webster Hall in New York City where they played the Downward Spiral start to finish. My favorite album of all time. It's like the only time they've ever done it. If I could be playing like just any instrument in that band, except for like I wouldn't want to be Trent Reznor, but because he's the reason why. But anyone else in that band, that's the gig I would play. If I could just play any gig with any band, like I would literally just be in the band. Supporting Royal Blood would be sick though.
Right.
At Royal Blood.
Yeah. So that was our last question. Thank you again so much to Concert Junkies Rob and John for sending us these questions. We're currently in the studio. We're from Melbourne, Australia, and we're recording a single, maybe a couple singles, which will come out hopefully later this year. Our next gig is at Cherry Bar on March 8th. So if you're around, make sure to hit that up. Thank you so much. Make sure to subscribe, hit that little bell. I'm Arabella. This is a Heist, and have a great night.